Uno, dos, tres, catorce. No, I'm not as high as Bono. It actually is the 14th Leog. Here we are to answer all your weird questions about comic books, movies about comic books, superheroes, TV, and comic books.
And occasionally gay people.
But gay people in comic books.
Yes, mostly comic books.
Yes, and that is our disclaimer to this episode. This is one of our comic book centric episodes. So if you're only listening to us for our wise ass remarks on whatever new movies or new TV shows are coming out, you're SOL. We're talking about comics.
Yeah, this isn't a Coco. We actually know how to read.
We don't.
Even if we do need pretty pictures.
Our musical director, Greg, how about slapping some bass for us on that?
Oh, shit.
Oh, jeez. Really?
Introducing your members of the League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen. At the helm, my main man, Cyrus.
Woo! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I just flew in from, well, actually, I've been here the whole time.
Damn, he's driving.
All right. Over on the side, we got Jason.
Howdy.
And that's all he's got. That's going to be his
That's
input
it.
for the
That's it.
evening.
all I got.
Thanks, Jason.
I gotta go, guys. It's late.
And now playing the part of Jason is Grant.
Now with 60% less penis.
Your helpful announcer.
Below the belt.
Your helpful announcer, Mr. Beau.
Yes, it is me.
Leon here, rounding out the cast.
And let us not forget
our musical director, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Did you learn to play Night Court yet? It's been 2 weeks, man.
Damn, man, put the brother on the spot.
No.
How about Stroker and Hoop? I gave you that one.
Actually, I think we've got our first running
How about
joke.
Stroker Ace?
How's that night court coming, Greg?
I forgot about it.
How about Stroker Ace?
Stroker Ace.
How about
Jan
Hooper?
Michael Vincent? No.
Jan Michael Vincent?
Wasn't he in Stroker Ace?
Airwolf? No, he was in Hooper.
Yeah.
Jan Michael Vincent was in Hooper.
It's Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
I know. Stroker. They were the same.
It's
they were
Burt
the same-
Reynolds and his fat gay friend.
Oh, Don DeLuise?
Yes.
He's the new Abbott. Or Costello, I'm sorry.
Captain Chaos.
All right, Cyrus. So what we got up here tonight?
Man, I don't want to scare people off and think we're just doing comics. Although this week mainly, we get a lot of shit from people saying, come on, comic books, really? Comic books is like big geeky thing. It's like, look, if you're saying it's that geeky, you just haven't taken the time to sit and read them and see how good they are. And we have made a difference.
Not only have we made a
And
difference.
by the way, if you're telling us that reading comic books is geeky, that implies that you're listening to us, which pretty much makes you the equivalent of a Baptist preacher watching gay porn. So shut the fuck up.
Who's the bigger fool? The fool or the fool who follows him?
Yes, fool.
I would say the bigger fool is the guy who quotes Star Wars. The thing is,
I think somebody else may have said that first, though.
no, that was me. The thing is, what I will hold to from now and forever is that The Dark Knight is the second biggest movie of all time, which makes it official that geek culture is mainstream culture.
Oh,
you cannot.
Is
give
that
people a hard
adjusted
time
for
reading comic
inflation?
books.
Or
and by the way, I must add, David Goyer, the producer of The Dark Knight, has come out and said they have made no plans for a third movie yet. All of the speculation, Johnny Depp, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Penguin, Riddler, all that. It's all bullshit. Bullshit. So shut up about it.
And welcome to Leog 8.
No, there's even some people. There's even some people saying, you know what? There may not even be a next one.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
Let me say this to you guys. You won't let me talk, and so I won't go on.
Aww.
But I know what will be in Dark Knight 3.
Yeah. All right. Come on. Go ahead.
Pee Wee Herman as Penguin's
I
dad.
have a matrix chart, and I got it all worked out. And
Matrix
I know logically what it would have to be.
You're using big words like matrix and logic.
Hey, man, I'm like Dr. Hugo Strange. I know about Batman. I know more of the psychology of Batman than Batman knows himself.
Shit. Let's hear it.
That's deep.
Let's hear it,
Are
you.
you
Well,
sure?
break it out, Dr. Fraud.
I want to hear it.
Because these guys shut me down every time I try to talk about it.
No, please, by all means.
We are
Go ahead and
coming
take it.
for you
This
for your
wasn't on
wisdom.
the schedule, but sure, why not? Go
All
Check
right.
out the big brain
All
on
right.
Leon.
You're
You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
Here it is. I mean, this is what we know about story. All about story, the way it has to work, is there's ups and there's down, ebb and flow. We started with Batman Begins, where he was just starting out. And at the end of Batman Begins, he ends on a high note. He has truly become the Batman, the Dark Knight.
Except for his whole huge house getting burned down.
Yes, but after that, he defeats his greatest villain, and he's ready to take on the Joker. So in the second movie, he takes on the Joker, does the best he can, but in the end, he's at a low point. So from here, from what we have Batman now, hunted by the cops, but still determined to do his job, he's going to do it the best he can, trying to capture villains while evading the police. Now, he may turn to the Venom formula to be able to do this, to stay up all night, but he's going to be wearing himself into the ground. Thus, he will need a partner to help him do this.
You're going with the Robin thing.
And that's what I'm saying. He's worked himself to a point where he will need a Robin. And it won't be him like deciding like maybe I'll have a Robin. No, Robin will be a need. And everybody's wondering like, okay, the Joker's out. There's no way to bring the Joker back. There's no actor who could take it on. But I got to turn to my main
Boners
man,
to bone.
Grantley Mandingo.
Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the only guy who's even
If there's one
plausible.
actor who could be the Joker, it is Daniel
But
Day-Lewis.
he'd never do it. He'd never do it.
How do you know that?
For one thing, he's crazy. Okay.
Right.
And he's also very snobby. He's
Everyone has their
real
price.
snobby.
Hey, Christian
Everyone
Bale is snobby
has their
too.
price.
Well, that's true.
Christian Bale is just as snobby.
You throw Dark Knight
Come
money
on,
at Daniel
dude. He did
Day-Lewis?
the Dark Knight and then Terminator 4. He ain't that snobby.
and the same way Daniel Day-Lewis might not be that
Yeah.
snobby.
You throw Batman money at Daniel Day-Lewis, he will be in Police Academy 8. Okay?
That's
There
the thing.
already was
it's
a
like
police
Daniel
academy.
Day-Lewis is snobby because everybody's offered him like a lot of money, but not a whole fucking lot of money.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Good argument.
I kill your sidekick.
And that's the one guy
I
that
kill him dead.
All right, everybody. We're gonna let Leon go back to chewing the glue-soaked rag he was working on a couple of weeks ago, and we're gonna when he came up with this theory, and we're gonna move on to
argue against what I said.
I just say let sleeping Robins lie. But back to where I was coming from earlier about vindication. That we had a woman write in to Leah.
a lady.
A lady.
Really? A woman
Well,
that
hello.
listens to
She
Leo?
didn't even have a question. She just wanted to compliment us and thank us for talking about comic books.
So basically, she's spam, and she's trying to get us to subscribe to some porn site or
It's
something.
Edie trying to get back on the shed side.
Fucking Edie.
No, it's not Edie. It's Amber. Now, I just want to read this out because we haven't gotten a lot of that whole backpatting email, so I enjoyed this, especially not from woman. Jeez, and I'll take anything.
Usually,
I
we
can
just get the base sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck those motherfuckers.
We get the base sucks. Doesn't Jason
suck
have
in his
anything
face.
of import to add? The same
And
type of
honestly,
stuff.
anybody who's going
The
to write
question
in,
is yes and no.
anybody who's going to write in and say like, "I hate the bass, take it out," don't even bother because we're not listening to you.
But
Sorry.
Amber says, this isn't a question, but really a thank you. Being that I'm a girl, the closest I've gotten to a comic book is watching the movies based off of them. But I really enjoy listening to your broadcasts, even though half the time I have no clue what any of you are talking about. So I took your advice and got The Watchmen, The Dark Knight Returns, and Marvel Zombies. And I must say that I've enjoyed them all. I love Marvel Zombies, even though that wasn't one you recommended. I'm not all the way through Watchmen just yet, but I think it is really good, and I'll be at the theater opening night when the movie comes out. So I just wanted to say I've officially turned into a semi-comic book geek, all thanks to you fellas. Keep up the great work. I'm like,
damn.
all right, you guys sure one of y'all didn't write this as a plant? or
No.
something?
I read that and it was very complimentary. Probably the most complimentary
when
email
I'm
we've ever
pretending
gotten.
to be a 16-year-old girl on the internet, I've got a lot better place to go to than Spill My Friend.
That's true. That was really embarrassing. It turned out we were chatting with each other that one day. wasn't it?
But we did both good.
What, you don't want to
Same
lure
kind of-
DJ Kent into your snare?
We're mean.
Squeal like a pig now, boy. Squeal.
No.
Thanks,
Oh,
Amber.
that was
Tell
just
your
a-
hot friends. And,
Yeah.
well, shit, you know what? Just tell your friends. Tell everybody. Listen to Leog and read comic books.
Yes.
Yeah,
In that order.
I would like to say that as far as, I know I'm not a philanthropist or a doctor or doing anything worthwhile in any wise whatsoever, but man, if I get some people out there to read some cool comic books and keep people going to the store and buying them and keeping the industry afloat, hey man, it's a drop in the bucket, but I'm happy to do that service. I'm glad you got into this. Thanks.
Yes. V for Vendetta and Kingdom Come.
Yeah. On all our facts, we have lists on the League Lounge. There are lists of the comic books we recommend. Please, if you're wondering what's worth reading, at least by our humble opinions, then check it out.
And Jason's not here, but he would like to tell you, read ElfQuest. You'll love it.
Yeah. I got all these emails from people like, oh my God, have you checked out this week's South Park? Ah. Okay, so there's male anal rape in it. You know, it's not the most offensive thing South Park has ever done.
The most horrible thing is when they recreate the scene from The Accused.
Okay, now that was a little machine,
which is genius because if any of you haven't seen The Accused, it's the movie that made Jodie Foster a serious actress.
Yes.
You know, to be considered, it was like her first adult movie. So
she only had to be raped on screen.
And
to do it.
she was raped on screen in a
and
bar.
It made her gay.
And she was raped on a pinball machine and. That's what they do in this South Park
when
episode.
you have George
but
Lucas
it's on
and Steven
here's the
Spielberg.
genius. It's a Howard the Duck pinball machine.
George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are raping Indiana Jones on a Howard the Duck pinball machine, and the close-up of George Lucas's face when he comes.
That's the
and
thing.
His face turns red.
Like that whole episode is great, but the moment that George Lucas busts a nut, that is the pinnacle of that whole entire episode.
That was a moment that was almost too much for me. I was like, okay. I was like able to deal with the repeated fantasy anal rape scenes of Indiana Jones, but the close-up of George Lucas going, oh, God, yes.
To paraphrase Brian Posehn, I'm going to rip my eyeballs out, set them on fire, and bury them.
I got to applaud these guys. Like, with every season of South Park, they come out the box just on fire and running. And they've done it again with this episode. I didn't even know there was a new South Park.
And they've got a long track record of, kind of sticking their finger into Spielberg's eye over stuff like the E.T. remake where they edit out all the guns. And, the stupid bullshit that Spielberg and Lucas have done. So they knew they were going to get mileage out of this, but it's just like, it's really nice to see people going over the top in their what is this, like their 8th, 9th season?
It's actually the 13th.
Jesus. And that they're still going over the top like that is really impressive.
Is it really 13?
Yeah. No, I take that back. I think maybe it's the 12th.
The end of the 12th season, technically.
Yeah, 12th season.
Which is funny because you think they just started the 20th season of The Simpsons. And
I don't even watch.
Has it really been the 20th season?
Yeah.
I don't even watch South Park all that much. But every time they do something like this, I just want to send them a fruit basket or something. I was just like, keep up the good fight, guys.
and the thing was, we didn't hate the Indiana Jones movie.
No.
Cyrus! You liked Last Crusade?
I liked
Crystal
it.
Skull better than Temple of Doom?
Yeah,
Let's go outside.
I did
now.
too,
You know what?
and I'll go out there with him, and I will beat you like you just broke into my house.
Fuck you, Will.
Let me say this.
You
to
betrayed
guys.
Shiva Vishvakateo!
I like Crystal Skull.
No time for plot, Dr. Jones. Here, go on roller coaster.
No. I like Crystal Skull better than Temple of Doom until I watched Temple of Doom again, and I was like, no, Temple of Doom's way better.
Yes, thank you.
I went and watched Temple of Doom after seeing it, and I still went, no, sorry, Crystal Skull, I still enjoyed more.
So you helped rape Indiana Jones.
Come on, how is like
You held him down while Spielberg stuck it in.
Yeah. You held him down and huffing your rag
and
soaked
Lucas
with furniture
teabagged
polish.
him while you held his hands
What
back.
can I say? Old Harrison Ford getting raped is
It's
my
just the
greatest
hottest
fantasy.
thing ever. Yeah, that was what I was wanting to do.
And this is for 8 days, 7 nights. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Regard this, Henry.
Not that he doesn't deserve to be anally raped a little bit, but just not by me.
Well, he is sleeping with
What
close-up.
is anally raped a little bit? Like just the tip?
Yeah,
What is that?
Just enough to scare him.
He is sleeping with Calista Flockhart on a regular basis. So what's the diff?
Cartoon Network has revealed like a whole new Friday night lineup, which basically centers around
Adult Swim or
Well, no. It centers around the Clone Wars.
Oh God.
I know, and it's Secret Saturdays. And I just wanted to bring up the Clone Wars first because with the Clone Wars movie, everybody hated it, but I was kind of giving it slack because I'm like, you know what, this is actually like a TV pilot that shouldn't have been in the
really
theaters,
bad.
but was there. And like, hey, maybe it's a clunky pilot. It's going to be for a good series. Much like the Avatar. Like when I saw Avatar: The Last Airbender, the pilot, I was just like, meh. But the series I love.
So you can have a clunky pilot that's just carrying the ideas. You just shouldn't put it in theaters and shill out its product.
Exactly. But then I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll watch the series and see how that goes. And last Friday, which by the time they hear this will be 2 Fridays ago, they showed 2 episodes of Clone Wars on Cartoon Network. And I was like, wow. these are just as boring as the movie was.
Yeah. See, I figured they would be. I mean, the
Did
movie
they-
felt like mediocre television to begin with.
Did they re-release the Tartakovsky stuff on DVD? Because I
Yeah,
know
no, it's totally out on DVD. And for anybody listening the first time who has not seen the original Clone Wars animated series,
Oh, that
it
shit's good.
Fucking rocks. It's everything the prequels
because
weren't.
it was
It's
out of
so
print
good.
there for a little while. And,
Was it really?
Somewhat hard to find.
No, I was
somewhat.
starting to
Back
think that Lucas was doing what he does, which is force it out of existence, kind of like, no, this is the Clone
That's
Wars
what I
that
was
we're
afraid
doing
of.
now.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, but anyway, so it is just as bad as we had feared.
It kind of is. There was an episode with Yoda with a few Clone Wars troops who was fighting a whole army.
Yeah.
And he was being very cocky. He's like, "Oh, I can fight this whole not a Clone Wars army. He's fighting a Sith
Wait,
army."
Yoda was being cocky?
Yeah, I know.
That's not
Jesus
really very
Christ.
Yoda.
Yeah, it was like there was like 100 different ways for
It's like, at
Yoda
least
to
stick to your
accomplish his
tropes.
goal in a cool way, but he wanted to be a dick about it and show what a badass he was. But in the commission of being a badass, he really hurt the troops who were with him.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, no.
It's like to seeing the Dalai Lama challenge someone to an arm wrestling contest when he's drunk on whiskey. It's just not something you'd expect.
Okay. Say the
I would pay money to
Say
see
the Dalai
that. Yeah, I would
Lama
too.
like had a way to beat whatever the offending army was by himself easily,
Gunga.
but decided I'm
Gunga
gonna go the
Lunga.
hard way just to show you that I'm the fucking Dalai Lama.
Right.
But like the monks who are with me are gonna get fucked up in the process.
Sure.
It's
But
like-
that's why you've got monks, man. That's like your little entourage.
Right. I mean,
Except
basically,
they know Shaolin.
the Clone Wars troops in this
You know
are
what?
red shirts.
What's sad? More people listening to this know who Yoda is than the Dalai Lama.
true?
That's sad. but
Well,
true.
the thing was, it's like after you get through that episode, the next one is with Anakin and the little sassy red chick Osaka, and it's completely annoying and boring.
His Padawan, which
Yes.
he's actually never been qualified to take on.
Oh, she's like a Togruta or whatever.
Oh my
Oh my
you're a
God.
geek.
You know, the fact that
I am. I
the
am.
prequels
That's
were,
why I'm
even though
here,
even though
man.
the prequels made money, which of course they're going to, I mean, there's no way they weren't going to. That's not a mark of quality. But you'd think that he would have at least a little bit listened to the criticism and gone, okay, if I'm going to do some more Star Wars stuff, I'm going to go into the future. I'm going to go back and do the stuff that takes place after it's animated.
That's the
What
thing
difference
is
does it make?
he's rebelling against the criticism. he's I really do think that he's doing a lot of stuff out of spite. I really do.
That's the only
But
explanation
He
I can think of.
honestly has not been in tune with the Star Wars fan ever.
I think it
Ever.
might be spite and bitterness. I mean, you roll back to American Graffiti, and I mean, Lucas spent his he was a protege of Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
One of the greatest filmmakers ever, and I'm sure that he thought that he was eventually going to be like this, and he had his little idea. Oh, I think I'm going to do this little space opera thing, and
Yeah, I'm gonna do this Flash Gordon knockoff.
That'll be fun, and then I'll go on and make The Godfather. And it never happened. It blew up in his face, and it wouldn't surprise me if there is maybe some even unconscious part of his brain that's going, I'm going to fuck this. Fuck these guys.
Here's the thing: is there's a great book that any Star Wars fan should read. It's called Empire Building. I can't remember who wrote it, but it's really a behind-the-scenes thing of Star Wars, of episodes 4 through 6, Star Wars through Jedi,
Right.
and it talks about the influence that Gary Kurtz had.
Oh, yeah.
On Star Wars and Empire. But during Empire, a lot of Empire is Irvin Kershner and, believe it or not, Harrison Ford. They were essentially rewriting shit on the fly. And when they had the first screening of Irvin Kershner's Empire Strikes Back, Francis Ford Coppola was there, Steven Spielberg was there, and it was great. George Lucas stood up and freaked out, pitched a fit, and said, "You're ruining my movie."
Yeah.
Somebody on the last set of questions asked, who would you have chosen if you could go back in time and remake the prequels? Who would you have chosen to direct?
And my
Well,
answer
Gary-
was any fucking
well,
body.
any fucking body, but Gary Kurtz, and get Lawrence Kasdan to write the screenplay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
tell the actors that, hey, you're not confined with beyond the boundaries of this green screen. You can actually act. You can bring stuff of yourself to this part.
Yeah.
And they could have created something incredible.
The
but-
guy who did Troops would have done a better job.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and what was funny was that after George Lucas had his little meltdown, he took all of the footage for Empire Strikes Back, secluded himself for 2 weeks in an editing bay, came out, had another screening again with the same people, and was nearly laughed out of the theater. Like, and I could be screwing it up, but like Spielberg and Coppola were like, "Wait, seriously? what you just put together is garbage. What we saw 2 weeks ago was way better than this. And arguably, Empire is the best film of the six. Lucas, he threw up his hands and he was like, all right, fine.
I don't think there's an argument.
I love New Hope, but yeah, I mean, out of all 6 of the goddamn movies, the only one that really stands out as a piece of fucking genius is Empire Strikes Back.
Jason, based on everything you just said, how do you love the prequels? Because what you just laid out is that George Lucas is Ed Wood with a lot of money.
Oh no, yeah, you know what? I love the prequels and I really do enjoy them. That said, they don't hold a candle to the original trilogy. They are not fit to drink the original trilogy's bathwater.
See, I do enjoy
them.
I can't enjoy them.
But you
I
can't
know what
separate
you're saying, though, that there's like those things that you go, I don't care. It's those characters. I love them, and I love the universe, and I don't care if it's not that great. I still enjoy what I can get out of it.
It's not
anyway.
even that.
But I can't do that with those because they're so awful.
I honestly think that if the original trilogy were to come out and we had no idea, or excuse me, if the prequels were to come out and we had no idea what the original trilogy was, we had no idea they were tied to Star Wars, I still think they would have been a lot of fun and really huge hits. But they were living in the shadow of the original trilogy.
I tried to rewatch them with that point of view, thinking, okay, trying to think of it. Swear to God, looking at them going, I'm going to enjoy it, find something to get out of this, enjoy this, because I want to, and look at it in that way, and I still think it's just garbage filmmaking.
Well, if I can relate an anecdote, I was when
has someone been poisoned?
No, when Phantom Menace came out on VHS before it came out on DVD. When it came out on VHS, and this is probably not the best argument, but it was something that I really enjoyed. I was in.
What is this VHS you speak of?
Right. I was in Walmart, right? And I was walking around, and they had, the bank of televisions looking like some sort of bank security thing. And they had all these televisions, and they were playing The Phantom Menace. And I came around the corner, and there was like an entire kindergarten class of kids sitting there whom had obviously showed up at different times, and they were just all collecting. And they were rapt. And when Darth Maul got cut in half, these kids burst into applause. And I watched it, and I said, okay, I like that. That's what it's about.
Anakin Skywalker is Miley Cyrus.
No, but that's all.
That's why it's popular. It would be madly popular with kids. And I'm with you. I agree. I think they would have been hits, too. But yeah, I'm also with Cyrus. This is like, oh god, it's horribly, horribly bad story.
I didn't think it was horrible. I just it doesn't hold up to the
He
original.
has flat out said, fuck the adult audience over and over again. He said, I don't see, these movies are for kids. They were always for kids. And with these prequels, he's making them short, like for even smaller kids, because he doesn't care. There's no, a 6-year-old can't differentiate between crap and good stuff. They just like good special effects.
I am not comfortable with kids getting introduced to racial stereotypes.
There you go.
Oh yes, the Jedi, they will come here.
It's okay if kids hate Jews and Japs.
He makes a good point.
Let's see, we got Jews, Japs. Hey, you like that?
These are gonna open my eyes really wide with my big party lips.
Yeah, you forgot the Sambos. Mister don't know nothing about birthing no babies.
Yes, master.
Oh yes, Annie, we must
was
get
that
the
supposed to be a
money.
You know what?
thing?
I will defend Star Wars a lot, but don't expect me to defend Jar Jar because I'll be the first one to like
Jar Jar, who's the big Jewish butterfly? I mean,
That's
Jewish
Watto,
bumblebee.
yeah, it's like, hey, Danny.
Yeah.
First, I have to go to the Wailing Wall, but later I will be back, and we will have some knishes and blintzes.
If you guys ever read,
It's like, holy God! Why is he just like unwrapping a whitefish in front of you while he fucking deals diamonds?
hey, if you guys ever read the Protocols of Zion, you would know that is a great piece of storytelling right there in Phantom Menace.
It was my favorite children's book. I had the Golden Treasury edition.
Yeah.
Hey, as fiction goes, it's been reprinted over and over again.
Did you know? Did you guys know that the Nemoidians in Phantom Menace were actually referred to by the Jedi's as the Yellow Peril?
All of their dialogue was written by the guys that wrote the dialogue for the Yellow Claw.
Yeah, I was gonna
in the
say
50s.
it's the Yellow Claw, Fu Manchu,
and the Mandarin.
and the
I was
Mandarin.
gonna say they should get those guys to write Iron Man too. So
Yeah. Meanwhile, Christopher Lee.
I'm just picturing those guys in a chorus line now. It's
Meanwhile,
great.
Christopher Lee is sitting there as Count Dooku, looking at the audience, going, "That's not how you do a Fu Manchu accent."
nice one.
All I want to say is like the two shows that premiered were the Clone Wars and the Secret Saturdays. And the Secret Saturdays, I don't think it's a perfect show, but it's worth checking out. Just in as much as it's a new show, Jay Stevenson, and it's kind of a meld between the Herculoids and Johnny Quest and the Fantastic Four.
And that does sound
who was
cool.
Jay Stevens?
Okay, I'm sorry, Jay Stevens.
Jay
And
Stevens.
Jay Stevens, back in the 90s, he was an indie artist who had a style that, like, I refer to him as a poor man's Mike Allred, who did Mad Men.
Oh, right. You mentioned that, yeah.
Yes, and he was fairly popular, but I guess he left comics to do animation. So he did Tuttenstein, which is extremely popular.
I've never heard
Well,
of
okay, maybe not extremely, but
I'm
it's
not
a
a
cartoon
big
that plays on the
animation
Discovery Channel.
It
and
had an
ABC.
audience.
Yeah, it had an audience. And now his new show is The Secret Saturdays, and it's about a scientific family, but it centers on the kid. And it's like I said, it's like the Fantastic Four, except if
Is it like a Swiss Family Robinson type of thing? Like the
if Reed
Herculoids?
Richards had been black.
Oh, now we get
So
it.
you sort of like you got an interracial couple who are they're a scientist family with
That's
their
why
kid.
it was a secret.
Don't you watch anything without black people? Come on, seriously, really? Does everything have to have a black person to entertain
That's
you?
why you don't
Well,
like
yes,
Star
it
Trek.
does.
No wonder
Actually,
he doesn't like Tarantino films. Oh wait, never mind. There's black people in that. Just not the first one. Okay.
but it's a decent show. I just want our audience to check it out and tell me what they think about it.
Okay. No, fair enough.
That's all.
It's not educational, is it?
And where can they
It
see
kinda-
it? There's a link
they-
where they can.
Well, there is. I don't have the URL. If you go to
Just-
Cartoon
just go to
Network,
Cartoon
It's,
Network.
Go
it's,
to
it's
Cartoon
on
Network.
Cartoon Network.
You're forming your own connections on the side, aren't you?
I am not. I'm saying
We're
this.
gonna go to his house. He's gonna have a bunch of empty packages. Of
I
movies,
watched
just
the
like
show.
They're going to be Cartoon Network whores and Cartoon Network cocaine strewn all over that house.
When we brought up Flapjack the other week, a lot of people got excited, like, "Oh, I love Flapjack."
And indeed, I thought that was the last time we were going to bring him up, but I was wrong. I was wrong.
Hey, I watched an episode of SpongeBob right before I got here. That's no lie.
I just,
Seriously.
at this point, anything with Brian Doyle Murray, just you go.
Brian
really?
Doyle
That's
Murray.
going to be the next big thing.
The Flying
Brian Doyle-
Dutchman.
Brian Doyle Murray is awesome, man.
He's awesome.
All
Jason,
right.
do you watch Flapjack?
No, I have not seen it yet. You told me about it. I didn't
But
even
see,
know about it.
you
until
being
mentioned
like you're like the biggest SpongeBob fan I know.
Yeah.
and you would love Flapjack.
it. That's what you were telling me. I haven't. Is it on Cartoon Network? Is it
Cartoon
on-
Network.
Okay.
I thought it was
haven't-
entertaining the
I haven't
one
even
episode
heard
I
of it
saw.
aside from you mentioning it. Honestly.
And then I
Then
watched
again,
the
I don't
second
watch a lot of
episode, and
TV.
it was like the same episode over again, pretty much. Sorry, that's just what I got out of it. But I'm not a SpongeBob fan.
Okay, we're done. Cyrus doesn't like Flapjack, and he thinks Aquaman is a bad superhero. Move on.
Yes, move on.
Is that a criticism?
It's an
Anyway,
extreme
You don't like
criticism.
Aquaman? What's wrong with you?
He talks to the fishes, bitch.
yeah, and that's it.
Aquaman
Yeah,
is
And I
you
eat-
say that from the inside of a belly of a
honestly
great white shark.
Aquaman
motherfucker.
is what 60 years of unrealized potential.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Seriously,
If I was able,
Actually, no.
if
Only
they
for
let me write my
Aquaman was bad
Aquaman
in the
story,
60s.
Yeah.
you would love Aquaman.
Unrealized is the key word you used there, Jason.
Should I talk about
Sorry.
my Aquaman story?
It just hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
Sure, I'm sure there's a great Aquaman story out there. It just hasn't been written yet. All right,
It's right
anyway.
here, baby.
Not enough for me to like it. Though.
Starring
you can
Vinny
see
Chase.
why I
You'll love
haven't
it.
subscribed.
Oh, when I lay out my Aquaman story, you'll love it.
Yeah. Paul Newman died, who's like one of the greatest actors, really, of of several generations.
I was actually like
Several.
I was out
just-
working.
that's like 200 years.
I was out working in the field in the place that I was setting up to do this show for some people. Like
Chain gang.
they had yes, I was on a chain game.
No man
They,
can eat 20
in their
eggs.
kitchen they had like a box of Newman's own popcorn, and it just as soon as I saw it, I just got depressed. It's like, fuck, I'm never gonna be able to look at a bottle of salad dressing again. What the fuck? I absolutely adore Paul
All right,
Newman.
favorite Paul Newman movies.
yeah,
round
the question,
robin.
Poopa
Papa Palpatine.
Say that 10 times
Poopa
fast.
Palpatine. Palpatine.
8 more times.
Palpatine.
No. You do it one more time, he's going to appear.
Oh, yeah. We don't want a bad horror movie.
Have you
starting.
seen that
Beetlejuice.
picture?
But no, I mean, so he asks, or she, I don't even know, with the passing of Paul Newman, what are our favorite Paul Newman films?
Cool Hand Luke.
Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah, but he automatically said that was excluded because that's a gimmick.
Man, that's bullshit. You can't say that it's excluded.
Well, you
Okay,
already
okay.
did your review.
No, because
so
it's
Okay.
it's his favorite film.
Grant
So,
says HUD.
you know.
Grant didn't say anything. Greg says HUD.
HUD.
You say HUD?
HUD is great.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll go first. The Verdict. Come on, man. David Mamet writing the script for Paul Newman. He plays this broken down ambulance chasing lawyer, and then he gets this case of this woman who died wrongfully under the care of this Catholic hospital, and they've got the entire weight of, like, not only the diocese, but the archdiocese, like, going back to the Vatican, throwing behind it. And it's just this incredible courtroom drama, one of the best courtroom dramas that's ever been put on film. And Newman is incredible. He redeems himself from being this just, like, horrible guy who, like, literally in the beginning of the movie is going to funerals to give people his card as a lawyer, and it goes to the point of defending this case, and it's incredible. The dialogue's sparkling. Just great.
I'm embarrassed to say I've never actually watched The Verdict.
You
Have
must.
seen The Verdict? That is a great movie.
I've heard it is.
And what is yours? Cyrus?
I just saw this recently for the first time, but Cat on a Hot Tin Roof is astonishing.
Well, the thing is with Paul Newman, you go to IMDb and look at Paul Newman, and he's like I wrote in my review, he's the only actor you can look at, and every one of his movies is a decent movie. There's not one in there where you go like, oh, that movie sucked.
Harper is a great one that not a lot of people see. It's his detective movie, and he did 2 movies as the character Harper and The Drowning Pool. They're both well worth checking out.
I haven't actually seen a lot of Paul Newman movies. I mean, of course, my favorite is Cool Hand Luke. But if I were to have to pick one outside of Cool Hand Luke, it would be Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, we got to establish some rules. Rules in a knife fight? All right, no rules. Somebody say 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Let's not forget about Slapshot. So many people haven't even
yes.
seen
Oh, yeah.
Slapshot.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those films that just managed to slip through the cracks for a lot of people, and that is one of the first really great sports underdog films.
Yeah.
And honestly,
It is right up there with Rock.
if you actually do the research on it, it's where the violence in hockey really came from.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't the other way around.
But before
Really?
then,
What?
it was kind of frowned upon to behave that way, and that's one of the reasons that that team they were in the dregs of the league because they were so violent.
Is this a life imitates art kind of thing?
Yeah, no, I mean, really, because it was the big deal. It's like they're very frowned on violence in hockey, and that movie was, at least for that period when it came out, a big hit. It was a silly, wacky comedy. A lot of critics looked their noses down on it because it was
but it was like Stripes or Ghostbusters.
Now-
I mean, everybody saw that.
Yeah. Now this is when this is not the one where Emilio Estevez coaches the team, right?
I'm going to kill you
no, that's
with
the
a
movie.
knitting needle, and I'm only going to use it touching your brain.
Is this Slapshot?
We're gonna make a remake of
Yeah.
it, The Mighty Dorks. No, we were talking about Slapshot.
What with the four of us trying to play a sport?
That'll be funny.
I
in and
say
of
I say
itself.
4 of us. 'cause
I get to
Greg
play the
actually
kid who
probably
isn't
could.
molested.
We're the the underdog shuffleboard team. Another question from Dar Siskel, another good movie question. Movies that grow on you. Good question. So, because there's those films, he says Kung Pao the Fist. I'm sorry, that movie sucked. No offense.
I think that movie's bullshit.
I've seen it. I went back and somebody else said, no, I really like that. I said, well, maybe I'll give it another try. I was like, no, this is still garbage. So
It's funny because I felt the same way. That's